Hello, everyone. I'm Tanya Rivero. Thank you for joining us. President Trump is not ruling out a pardon for former Trump campaign chairman Paul Manafort. Critics of Mr. Trump have raised concerns the president could use his pardon power to protect people loyal to him from the special counsel's investigation. This comes just days after prosecutors alleged Manafort lied to investigators, breaching his plea deal. Manafort will not appear at a court hearing on Friday. CBS News Washington correspondent Paula Reid has more.
CBS News has learned some of the first details about what the president told special counsel investigators. In written answers, Mr. Trump said that, to the best of his recollection, he did not know about WikiLeaks' plan to release hacked Democratic emails during the 2016 campaign, and that he did not know about the 2016 Trump Tower meeting attended by campaign chairman Paul Manafort, Donald Trump Jr., Jared Kushner, and a Russian lawyer promising dirt on Hillary Clinton. Recently, the president has been attacking special counsel Robert Mueller on a daily basis. Today, he retweeted a picture of various officials behind bars, including his own Deputy Attorney General Rod Rosenstein. And in an interview with the New York Post, the president may have provided a lifeline to Manafort, who could spend the rest of his life behind bars. Mr. Trump said a pardon for Manafort was never discussed, but I wouldn't take it off the table. Why would I take it off the table? It's not the first time the president has expressed sympathy for his former campaign chairman.
You know what? He happens to be a very good person. And I think it's very sad what they've done to Paul Manafort.
And in a sign Manafort is angling for a pardon, his attorney has taken the unusual step of updating the president's legal team on what the special counsel is asking about. Manafort has spoken to Mueller's office several times since entering a plea deal in September, a deal federal investigators said this week he violated by lying.
And Paula Reid joins me now from the White House. Hi, Paula. Now that President Trump has publicly announced that he would consider a presidential pardon for Manafort, what does that mean for the Mueller investigation?
Well, it gives Manafort a reason that he doesn't have to necessarily cooperate with the special counsel. Over the course of this investigation, the president has repeatedly been asked about his former campaign chairman, and he has done two things. One, he's tried to distance himself, trying to diminish the scope and length of their relationship, but he's also tried to promote sympathy for Manafort, suggesting that he is a victim of this witch hunt or politically motivated investigation. All of this suggested that it was possible that Manafort would potentially get a pardon, but here you have the president very publicly saying that he hasn't closed the door on this possibility. Now, there's also people, Democrats, who have suggested that this could be evidence of obstruction of justice, trying to frustrate the investigation. But so far for Manafort, this is just a sign that he may not have to spend the rest of his life behind bars.
Well, is that all that it means for Manafort personally? Isn't he taking a pretty big risk here?
It is a risk because you may not get that pardon. Heaven forbid something happens to the president or there's some reason the president decides politically or morally he cannot issue this pardon. Manafort is expected to spend likely the rest of his life behind bars. But really his choice is now, because he has violated his plea agreement with the special counsel, which is really his only hope of getting a lesser sentence, he faces the possibility of decades in jail. He's been convicted on charges of tax fraud and bank fraud, and he also has these other charges related to illegal lobbying here in Washington, D.C. So really his only hope of not going to prison for the rest of his life is a presidential pardon. So that seems like a pretty good risk to take.
And Paula, could the president's statement about that pardon be seen as obstruction in this case?
Taken in isolation, it is not obstruction of justice, but you take it in the context of all the other things the president has done in the context of this investigation. He's fired his FBI chief, he has said, partially for the handling of his Russia investigation. Also, his attorney general, he forced his resignation, and he was very public about the fact that he was displeased with his attorney general, specifically because he recused himself in the Russia investigation. There's also reports and things that we've confirmed, comments he's made to the deputy attorney general or the deputy director of the FBI. The special counsel is looking at all of this to make a determination about whether or not they believe there is evidence that the president has tried to frustrate or obstruct this investigation. And if they believe that is the case, they'll pass that evidence off to the acting attorney general, Matthew Whitaker, who could, if he wishes, pass it along to Congress for possible impeachment proceedings.
So all of those bits and pieces could be put together to form a larger picture, perhaps.
Exactly.
Paula Reid at the White House, thank you.